Hey everyone, how is everyone doing? Long time no see. I hope you all are doing well today. And usually, we always have a topic to discuss. But today, I simply want to say thanks. Thank you for waiting, thank you for being there. I'm grateful for life, for you all, and for the countless people who have helped all of us throughout our journey. People who continue to support us, continues to challenge us to think through a different lens. And thank you to everyone, friends, family, loved ones, for continuing to believe in us. Even those who oppose, especially those who oppose, for the good and the inconvenience in life. This year has been a test, I think, for all of us, young and elderly alike. And although some of us may have done poorly on this test than we would have liked, it has been nothing short of a gift. I read somewhere that it takes 10 years to see that 1 year we have dreamt of. And for a lot of us, this was one of those 10 years. For some of us who have been hustling quietly for ages, this was that 11th year, and I wholeheartedly congratulate you. You have deserved it. We all have learned a lot of lessons this year, and I believe one of them was to be eternally grateful. And more importantly, why? You see, it is my theory, and my theory alone, so please feel free to refute it, and I'll be more than happy to brainstorm from your point of view. But it is my theory that being eternally grateful as consistently and for as long as possible, if we can achieve such a state of mind, that it would be one of the key ingredients in having a positive, bright, and warm life. It does not necessarily lead to the most successful life, more on that in our later conversations, but it does lead to a life we are content with. Some say to be content is to stop growing. I see that only being true if our growth was motivated to fulfill our own physical desires. And so I started wondering how few of us are content with our lives, with our jobs. And I totally get it. Why be grateful for a toxic environment? No one deserves that. And we must definitely try to change such an environment or be elsewhere. But let's try to take a different look at it. Let's try to be grateful for the lessons learned from such an environment while we strive to outgrow it. Because we all know life will continue to repeat the lessons we have not learned. So why not learn those lessons with a positive attitude so that in our next interview cycle, we can make better choices. In relationships, I cannot keep track of count on how many people I've heard say that the spark dies out within the first few years. And what is that spark? Sure, for some of us it is physical attraction, but for most of us, that spark is the spark of being grateful. And the day we stop feeling like we have won the lottery, the feeling that we had on our first day of the relationship, and the day we stop valuing our partner's choice in selecting and continuously choosing us every day, that, I believe, is when the spark dies. We all know that those who feel valued will always do more than required. Being grateful to life is just more than being grateful at work or for our partner. It means being satisfied when people walk out of our lives as well. If they didn't leave, we wouldn't have the time to spread laughter and growth to more people. Be thankful for their time and assure them that we'll be there. I read somewhere that we don't lose people, we simply return them. For sure, we must be grateful for the new endeavors, people who walk into our lives. Let's not judge them too soon. Let's confront them at least with curiosity, if not empathy. Now the question is, how to practice constant gratefulness? How can we always be appreciative? There has been plentiful research being done that the same amount of dopamine hits will stop being as effective as it once was. Dopamine releases when we feel good, when we gain something. But isn't that a bit funny? When we are grateful, we are not at the center anymore. Dopamine is not released when we give chocolate to someone else or when we donate. Something else is released here instead. And the art of being grateful is chasing that feeling. If we realize and constantly remind ourselves that we had nothing to begin with, and everything we have now was something we dreamt of not too long ago, and when we leave, most likely, we will leave with nothing in our hands, then we realize that everything that we have now is simply lent to us, and our duty truly is to leave it in better shape than we found it. I have a monthly checkup for this medical treatment I've been going through for the past couple of years. And on my way, there is a cemetery. I pass it every time, and at first I used to avoid looking at it. Then one day I got tired and I decided to face my inner thoughts. At first, they were that of fear. Then they changed to sadness, and in the end, there was actually bliss. How many of those sleeping underneath would be willing to sacrifice almost anything to be in my seat, quite literally? I realized we have not earned this sunrise. Not truly anyways. I mean, what was our contribution in creating the sun or the earth? Or in the millions of years of evolution? So why not enjoy the shine? Or these clouds that protect us from the UV rays? Or the rain, which makes us realize that we all share the same roof in the eyes of nature. So why not bask in the wind and just smile? Smile for no reason at all. Just try it once, please. And I know it may sound silly, but please tell me how you feel. One last piece before we part for today, more for myself really than anyone else, is that you're not being grateful so the situation or the other person changes. The magic does not happen overnight. But looking back, after a year of this journey, I can assure everyone of one thing. No matter what happens externally, if we are grateful, then internally, we will always be full of love. The spark of life in relationships, in jobs, in almost anything we do will never die. And everyone around us will feel that eventually. We spoke of one word just now, of magic, and that struck another thought in me. It reminded me of a trait that has incredibly transformed my life. A trait that we will focus on in our next conversation, which is the art of surrendering. It isn't the same as inaction. It isn't the same as agreeing to everyone or becoming directionless. It isn't the same as putting all of our faith into one ideal or one goal. In fact, it is quite the opposite. The real magic happens not when we surrender to a principle, a relation, or a family, or even a country. The real magic starts happening when we surrender to life. And that is why, as we begin, it is to life for which we must be grateful for. Thank you once again for joining me and looking forward to our next conversation. Until then, take care.